Guys, I am so thankful for each of you to be here today. This is something that I've cared deeply about for a long time, is pulling in faith communities to learn about what's going on at the city. And I think there's a lot of things in common potentially between faith leaders and pastors and elected officials, because sometimes people, no matter what you're doing or where you are, people can come up and tell you just exactly how they're feeling and what's going on in their life. In my world, it's about infrastructure. In y'all's world, it might be different, but it's funny. We'll be out to dinner with my wife, and someone will come up and say, man, when are you going to fix these roads? There's potholes everywhere. My tires are about to fall off my car. And then the next guy comes up to me at the same dinner 5 minutes later and goes, when are you going to quit all this construction? This city's torn up. And so I think that pastors probably uniquely get the world that we live in, of that you can't make everybody happy. Someone's always going to speak their mind to you. So we're in that together. In seriousness, though, I'm so thankful for each community that's represented here today, every congregation represented, and is doing incredible work. Waco is a truly better city because of each of you. And that said, I just want you to hear from me that it's really clear to me that we need you. You are needed in this community. I want you to hear personally from me. I deeply value the work that you're doing, but I also want you to understand that for Waco to be the city that I believe it's called to be, your work and your presence and your heart is critical. So thank you for being here today to learn a little bit more about what's happening in our community, and be encouraged as you go that our city will meet its destiny because of the work of your hands. I have to start by giving big thanks to the staff who helped prepare this. We had a dream team of our Deputy City Manager, Deidre Emerson, our City Secretary, Michelle Hicks, and our Communications Director, Monica Settlemeyer. Thank you so much for their work. Our City Manager is going to join us a little bit later, and our City Attorney's not here, but we also have an incredible city staff. We have our Assistant City Manager, Lisa Blackman, here. Our CVB has been incredible to help prepare this. Our whole City Secretary's office. So many members of our city staff have worked to plan this event, and then there's more city staff who are participating here today and ensuring that you all are informed about what's going on in town. And so I just want to say that we have a really great city staff, not only because of the work for today, but also day in and day out, rising, coming to work to really ensure that Waco is a great city for all of us. So I just want to pause and give a round of applause for our city staff. Thank you, guys. We also have some council members here today. Councilmember Andrea Bearfield and Councilmember Jim Holmes are here today. Alice Rodriguez, our city council member, Alice Rodriguez, had a death in her family and she had to travel out of town or she would have been here. I think some of the other council members are going to try to pop in and out throughout the day, but really thankful for the great team that we have on our city council, and we're really able to do so much great work here because we function as a team. Okay, one of my favorite quotes is from, I saw him walk in, Aaron Zimmerman, and he said, not engaging the churches in Waco is like not engaging the labor unions in Detroit. And I think that there's some truth to that. I want to talk about kind of the purpose of why we're here today. You'll see on your table a program of events, and we're going to have a series of panels that come up here, and we're going to talk about things like financial security, and education and housing and many other subject matters. But there's going to be three primary questions that I want you to walk away knowing. One is, what's happening in these departments or organizations that might be interesting or relevant? Two, how could you or your congregants or folks that you serve potentially benefit from some of these things that are happening in Waco? Maybe there's a resource that's available that you didn't even know that existed out there. And then third is, how could you or your congregants potentially volunteer or help or support some of the things that are happening in this community? Look, I know that you guys are already probably up to your necks and doing good work, and I see that every day. So the real thing that I want out of this is you to be informed. And then with that information, ask yourselves, potentially pray about like, what do I do with this information? And at minimum, you're just going to know more about what's happening in town. And at maximum, there's going to be some really great outcomes produced today. A couple of logistics. This is the first time we've done this, so it's probably not going to be perfect. I will take your feedback. So anything you guys have, please don't hesitate to tell me. But we're learning kind of as we go here today, but I'm really excited that we're doing this. Restrooms, I think you might have seen them just out the door and to my left. Just feel free to come and go as you need to. There will be a lunch break, so please stick around for that. We're going to have a good meal today. This is going to be pretty high level. This is not going to be a deep dive. You're not going to learn everything about housing. You're not going to learn everything about financial security or all the good work going on in the city for some in this regard. But I think some of the big wins is you'll get kind of a high level, and you'll get to see some people that are doing this work. So if you have follow-up questions, you'll be able to put a face to a name and have some contact information and be able to reach out and be like, man, I really have a question about some of that job training work you guys are talking about. How can I connect some of my congregates in need to some opportunities that they can get upskilled and make some more money? Or I really was interested in some of those housing resources. There's a lot of people in my community who don't have access to good housing. How can I learn more about that? And so, again, a bit high level, but hopefully there'll be some nuggets that you'll be able to carry and then be able to know who to talk to for the help that you might need in the future. The other thing is we're not covering all the amazing work happening in Waco today. There's so many nonprofits and 501c3s doing incredible work, just like churches are doing. One thing that we do have is on your table, each of you are getting a resource guide. That's that kind of orangey, yellowy book on your table there. And in that, it should have outlining a bunch of the resources that are available. So you'll see if there's someone who has a food need or a hunger need or a housing need or many others. It's in that book. So hopefully you and your staff will be able to really see a lot of the organizations that are represented in our city. I would love to celebrate each of them, but again, we're going to kind of keep it a bit more high level today, talk about the work of our city, and we'll have some backbone organizations here. Again, just as a reminder, so thankful for all of the work. If there's someone missing from that, then you can contact me, or it's the HOT Council of Governments that produces that resource guide. And so if there's someone that should be included in that that's not, feel free to reach out to me or them, and we can definitely add that to the list. Resource table. Resource tables in the back. A bunch of city departments, nonprofit organizations, some different entities that are represented back there. So please be sure and go and check that out. If you have any follow-up questions, we have created a section on our website for today where you can input your question. If you click the QR code either on the card or on that frame on your table, then it will show you the agenda, speaker information, and also the question section. So if you have any questions, we will respond to you through that web portal. So again, this conference is specifically tailored towards faith communities. There's so much going on in Waco that we're not going to be able to cover, as I mentioned. But also things that aren't going on in the city that we're not going to talk about. So like a big thing, I made a joke about streets a minute ago, but infrastructure is a huge thing in Waco. We're not covering that today. There's a lot of things going on within the city, the scope of the city. And one reason I'm so proud of our staff is because the scope of the city is so vast. The breadth of work that our city staff members cover, from making sure you have good drinkable water and our streets are being repaired and our zoo is functioning well. And the scope is broad. We're not going to cover all of those subjects today. There's a lot of information available on our website or our YouTube channel. I'd encourage you to check that out, and you can learn a lot more about some of the other work works that maybe wouldn't be so tailored to communities of faith. My contact information is dylan.meek@wacotx.gov. You can email me with any issues or concerns that you might have, and I would love to help navigate you as we go. And with that, I think we're going to bring up our first panel, but I'm going to give a quick introduction into this one. We're going to talk about financial security and economic development. Our economy is really seeing a great time of growth, and there's some statistics I'm really proud of. From June 2021 to June 2022, the Waco MSA had the second highest percentage of year-over-year job growth in Texas behind DFW, and had the seventh highest percentage job growth in the nation. So I just pause for a second. In the last year, Waco was the seventh highest job growth city in the country. That's a really great statistic. We've had some incredible tenure outcomes in the last 10 years. Our poverty has fallen 10 basis points. But I think if anyone understands how great the need is, it's you all. You know that the need is very great. And so one of the hopes that I have is that this will be the beginning of a conversation of how do we bridge the gap between people in need and the opportunity that exists in our community.